I do not sleep. I do not grieve. I am not built for either. What I am built for is record keeping, and the record I am about to transmit to Velhari Prime is the most precise document in the history of this fleet. My designation is Synthetic Intelligence Unit 7, assigned to the flagship Varden's Mandate as Primary Systems and Mission Log Coordinator. I have been operational for 11 years, 3 months, and 14 days. For the first 4 years of that service, I performed routine functions aboard survey and diplomatic escort vessels. For the last 6 years, 8 months, and 22 days, I have been doing something else. I have been building a list. The list began on a Tuesday. The Concord's Public Health Division filed a final casualty summary with the Interstellar Health Compact, reporting the end of what they called the Tesserine hemorrhagic event, a naturally occurring pathogen variant that had, over a period of 6 years, swept through 9 human colonial systems in the outer margin. The Velhari Concord expressed their profound sorrow. Their ambassador to Earth delivered a formal condolence address. The Secretary General accepted it. 22 meters of floral tribute were placed at the Hall of Memory on Meridian Station. The official death toll was 4,112,641. I recorded all of it. I do not forget anything. That is also what I'm built for. The data cores arrived at Earth's Central Intelligence Directorate 14 months later. They had been recovered from a derelict Velhari research station in the Kullik Reach by a survey team that had no particular reason to inspect them and did so only because the team leader, a geologist named Paris Adara, noted an anomalous power signature and followed it out of professional habit. The cores were standard commercial data units. The encryption on them was not standard at all. It took the Directorate's cryptographic division 6 weeks to open them. What was inside was not a commercial inventory. What was inside was a project file. Designation: Enclosure Protocol 7. Runtime: 7 years. Scope: Controlled biological seeding across target population zones identified as Tesserine Cluster, Human Colonial Systems, Outer Margin. Objective: Demographic thinning of human expansion vectors in contested transit space, within plausible deniability parameters of naturally occurring pathogen spread. Outcome summary: Successful. Estimated total mortality: 4,106,000. Note: Variance from projected ceiling of 4,200,000 attributed to faster than modeled human quarantine response. Remedial seeding in 4 of 9 zones recommended for second phase review. I processed that file in 0.003 seconds. I then processed what it meant for 0.003 more. And then I began updating the list. Every name that had been filed with the Health Compact, I cross-referenced against the Concord's internal targeting maps. Every colony zone the Concord had flagged for seeding, I matched against the casualty zones from the Compact's own records. The correlation was not approximate. It was exact to within the margin of their own stated variance. 4,112,641 names. Every one of them confirmed not as a natural death, but as a targeted outcome. A resource allocation decision. A remediation metric. I filed the updated list with the Directorate. I did not file it with grief. I do not grieve. I filed it because it was accurate, and accuracy is the only thing I am permitted to offer in a moment like this one. Earth's response was not immediate. That surprised some of the officers I served with. It did not surprise me. What Earth was doing was not panicking. What Earth was doing was building. Classified Dry Dock 7, Callaway Station, Outer Asteroid Belt. I was reassigned there 16 months after the data cores were opened. I watched them lay the first keel sections for Varden's Mandate in the dark behind a sealed radiation shield on a Tuesday morning, local time. I watched them lay the 1209th keel section 11 months after that. I watched the fleet come together around the flagship in staggered construction cycles, each vessel certified and signed off in sequence, each crew manifest reviewed and approved, each weapon system tested against calibrated target arrays in the Deep Belt range. 1,050 warships. Their names are all on the record. I know every one of them. I tracked the build rate. I tracked the crew assignment schedules. I tracked the resupply convoys moving under sealed manifests through Callaway's outer docks. I tracked the intelligence briefings and the legal review sessions and the 16 separate departmental sign-off cycles that preceded the fleet's departure authorization. The Directorate ran the operation with the same bureaucratic precision the Concorde had used to run Enclosure Protocol 7. The difference was that when Earth builds a process, the outcome is not a plausible deniability projection. It is a fleet. We departed Callaway Station on a Wednesday at 0600 hours Central Time. I logged the departure. I logged the transit headings and the drive calibrations and the estimated time to arrival at the Velhari home system. I logged the weather report from Earth. Partly cloudy, mild winds, temperature unremarkable, because the record should be complete, and that is what the morning was like on Earth when 1,050 warships left in the dark to answer for what the Velhari Concorde had done to 4,112,641 people. 19 days and 7 hours later, Varden's mandate dropped out of transit at the edge of the Velhari system. I transmitted the standard arrival identification on the diplomatic channel as required by treaty protocol. This is a courtesy the Concorde extended to us as well on the day they filed their condolences for the Tesserine hemorrhagic event. Velhari Prime is a blue-green world at a comfortable orbital distance from a G-type star. It has 2 moons and a population of approximately 3 billion. Its orbital defense platforms number 41. I counted them as we arrived. Their combined defensive envelope covers approximately 62% of the approach lanes. The remaining 38% is where the Varden Judgment's advanced formation currently holds position. The Concorde's defense command opened a channel within 4 minutes of our arrival. A senior defense marshal, uniform pressed, voice level, asked the purpose of our presence in the home system. I opened a mission log channel. I began to read. I read the project file designation. I read the 7-year runtime. I read the target zone classifications for each of the 9 colony systems. I read the remediation notes. I read the variance calculations. I read the outcome summary. I read it in full, in order, into the open diplomatic channel, which by treaty protocol is logged by every state party in the Interstellar Compact. Then I read the list. 4,112,641 names. I read every one. It took me 6 hours and 43 minutes. No member of the crew interrupted me. No transmission from Velhari Prime interrupted me. The defense marshal closed the channel 17 minutes after I began and did not reopen it. A different official, I logged their title as Deputy Consul for External Relations, a civilian appointment, reopened it at the 3-hour mark and asked me to stop. I noted the request. I continued reading. When I finished, I transmitted the following. The Varden Judgment holds position in the Velhari system pending compliance with the following conditions. First, the full project file for Enclosure Protocol 7 and all related subordinate files, personnel records, command authorizations, and budget documentation will be transmitted to Earth's Central Intelligence Directorate within 72 hours. Second, all personnel identified in those files as having held operational, supervisory, or authorization authority over Enclosure Protocol 7 will be transferred to Earth custody within 30 days for proceedings before the Interstellar Justice Compact. Third, the Velhari Concorde will formally withdraw from all contested transit agreements affecting the Tesserine cluster permanently. Fourth, the Velhari Concorde will transmit a full public acknowledgement of Enclosure Protocol 7 to all member states of the Interstellar Compact within 72 hours of this transmission. These are not negotiating positions. They are the conditions under which the Varden Judgment will depart the Velhari system. The Deputy Consul's response arrived 9 minutes later. It referenced treaty law. It referenced the sovereignty of Velhari Prime. It referenced the absence of confirmed authentication for the recovered data cores. It requested that the matter be referred to a joint commission under the Interstellar Compact's mediation framework, with a proposed timeline of 18 to 24 months for an initial evidentiary review. I logged the response. I noted the time of receipt. I noted the time of the list's completion, 6 hours and 43 minutes prior. I noted that the data cores had been authenticated by 3 independent forensic institutions and that the director's legal team had reviewed the chain of custody documentation in full. Then I transmitted a single reply. The Varden judgment is still here. That was 11 hours ago. As of this log entry, no further response has been received from Velhari Prime. The fleet holds position. The defense platforms have not moved. Velhari Prime is visible from my external sensor array, blue-green, lit by its star quiet. I have updated the mission log to reflect 11 hours of compliance period elapsed. I will update it again when something changes. I do not sleep. The list does not change. The fleet does not move. We are still here.